What is up, my dudes? It's Cal. No, I'm kidding. I'm not changing up my intro just because it's 2018. What is up, guys? It's Cal, and it's 2018 now. New year, new me, I guess. I don't know. Someone probably says that. But anyways, in this video, I want to focus on like what's gonna happen in 2018 with WoW. What are people excited about? I mean, we know 7.3.5. We know Battle for Azeroth, and I do want to talk about the release dates of some of these things. None of them are announced. It's speculation. First, let's talk about 7.3.5 and what is coming in it exactly. Well, first off, there's going to be Time Walking Ulduar raid. We know that. There's possibly going to be a new transmog achievement for the Val'anyr, because there is one for the Twin Blades of Azeroth and Black Temple, except, you know, the main difference is Twin Blades of Azeroth is a drop, whereas the Val'anyr is, you know, the 30 shards that you have to pick up from the bosses. So they're required in different ways, but I don't know. There might be a possible achievement for that. There's also probably going to be more toys with the Time Walking Ulduar, because there was new toys added for Time Walking Black Temple. Like, for example, there's that skull where you can like sacrifice a critter and it opens up a portal to the Black Temple. It's actually kind of cool. So there's probably going to be some more things like that with Ulduar. Also, the difficulty things, because Ulduar is different. I mean, there's no heroic Ulduar, there's just hard mode versions of the bosses. So it's going to be interesting to see how that is going to play out exactly. Like when we fight Yogg-Saron, are all the keepers just not going to be active? Or like, is Mimiron's head going to drop off Yogg-Saron? So there's interesting things like that that I'm curious about. I do hope, I mean, Mimiron's head is going to drop off Yogg-Saron, because that will give me more of a reason to do the Time Walking Ulduar, I guess. But there's obviously going to be achievement associated with it, just like there was for Black Temple. There's going to be the zone scaling. That's coming in 7.3.5. When I originally heard the zone scaling, well, it was speculated long before BlizzCon. I originally did not like the idea of it. I just thought, why would you want to quest in Westfall if you're level 40? I mean, I quested there when I was level 15 or 10. I mean, it just didn't seem right to me. But then as it came out at BlizzCon, it made more sense to me. I understood it more. So kind of how it's going to be broken down is that the starting zones are going to be 0 to 10, level 0 to 10, and then the classic zones are going to range from 10 to 60. But what I mean by that is that they're all going to cap at level 60, so you can quest in all of them at 50 and get experience relative to your level. But their starting levels are different. Like, for example, Darkshore, Lochmadon, and Northern Barrens all start at 10, so you can quest there from 10 to 60. But then places like Southern Barrens starts at 25 and goes up to 60. Fairless and Western Plaguelands are 35 to 60, and then the higher level ones like Winter Spring and Fellwood, you know, those were always the upper level zones before. Those are 40 to 60. That's how it is on the PTR currently, at least. And then Outland and Northrend will both range from 60 to 80. With their starting levels different. So like Hellfire Peninsula, Howling Fjord, and Borean Tundra, you can quest in all of them at level 58. You could do that before. Well, I mean, you could quest in Hellfire Peninsula at 58 before. Like Zangarmarsh starts at 60, Dragonblight starts at 61, and then the higher end places like Icecrown, Storm Peaks, and Shadowmoon Valley, also Netherstorm, start out at 67. And then Kata and Mists areas are 80 to 90, which that makes a lot more sense to me, because it just feels weird, you know, stopping at Kata at 85, because they only added 5 levels in that expansion. Same thing with Mists, so I do like that one a lot more. And then there's the Silithus updates. We do know about the giant sword that is lodged into Silithus, and there's going to be the Seething Shores Battleground, which I've made a video on. It's wasn't all that great. I'm gonna just give you my honest opinion. Wasn't too spectacular. It was kind of like a capture the flag sort of thing, except the flags moved and spawned in. But you can check out that video and make your own opinions of the entire thing. Now, when is it going to come out? 7.3.5. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, not confirmed as of making this video, but I believe it's going to come out on the 23rd. January 23rd. The reason for this, I believe, well, I mean, a lot of people are assuming it's going to be in January, like mid or late January. You know, you might think February. I don't know. Definitely not after February. The reason I think of this is because the micro holiday in Silithus, you know, the Silithus micro holiday, it ends at like 8 a.m. on the 23rd or something, and then 23rd is obviously a Tuesday. So I don't think it's going to be on the 16th. I saw some people saying 16th, but I do believe it'll be on the 23rd. But they will tell us like a week before it comes out, like when it's going to come out. So on the 9th, they might be like it's coming out on the 16th. On the 16th, they might say it's coming out on the 23rd, but I do definitely believe it'll come out on the 23rd. I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. Now, after 7.3.5, I definitely think that there's going to be more patches. Not a whole lot more patches, because first off, when is Battle for Azeroth even coming out? Well, I'll get to that at the end. But for possibly new patches, I do believe that there's going to be one that comes out mid-March, whether that's like 7.3.7 or 7.4. I just don't think it'll have a whole lot of new content. Like, it's not going to have Argus level content or Broken Shores level content. I do think that there will be new quests between the Alliance and Horde that tell you more about the Zandalari Trolls and the Kulturos, letting you know that these are going to be the two major like factions to come in the next expansion. And then that's when I believe the next 4 allied races will come out. I did say that they were coming at 7.3.5, but they haven't been playable on the PTR, so I don't think that's happening. My apologies for that untruthfulness on my part. But yeah, I do believe that 4 new allied races, all of them minus the Zandalari Trolls and the Dark Iron Dwarves, will come out in that next patch that I think might be in mid-March-ish. Now, I want to tell you all about my thoughts on all 6 of these new allied races. I didn't want to make an entire video just like going into this because it kind of just seemed like a useless video to make because it didn't give you like guys any new information, just was an opinionated video, which I usually don't really like making. But my thoughts on these allied races. So some of them seem cool. There's really 2 of them, I guess 3 of them sort of, but mainly 2 of them that I really don't like that they're allied races. First off, let's start off with the Alliance. Dark Iron Dwarves. I do not think that they should be an allied race as of yet. Well, I mean, how their story ties in, it kind of makes sense because Mora is one of the leaders. She's one of the leaders of the Three Hammers. She's one of the leaders of Ironforge at the moment. So it's not like completely out there. I do think that the Wild Hammer Dwarves would have made a better, much better fit for an Alliance allied race. We've allied with them more, and they don't seem as evil, I guess. Also, Falstad, who's the leader of the Wild Hammer Dwarves, you know, he's part of the Three Council Hammers, whatever, part of the Ironforge leaders. I just think the Wild Hammer Dwarves would have made a much better fit. And now with the Nightborn, Horde allied race. Nightborn 100% should not be an allied race. They should not be, if anything, I mean, if anything, they should be an Alliance allied race because they're Night Elves, you know, they're not High Elves. They're not Blood Elves, obviously. They are Night Elves. They're ancient Night Elves who protected themselves from the Sundering. And the Alliance and the Horde help them equally in Legion. So yeah, should not be a Horde allied race. And then that brings me to the Void Elves on the Alliance allied race. You know, Void Elves are cool. They look cool. But it kind of makes me think that Blizzard was trying to be tricky because some people might not be aware of this. But Void Elves are Blood Elves. I mean, technically you can say that they're High Elves because all Blood Elves are High Elves, because after the Third War, 90% of the High Elves were wiped out, and then 90% of that 90% changed their names to the Blood Elves. Well, they changed their name to the Sindori, which means Children of the Blood, so Blood Elves. And it was actually confirmed. Let me actually bring up the exact quote. This is how Illyria finds the Void Elves and introduces them into the Alliance. It says, Illyria said that she had been trying to convince the Blood Elves to rejoin the Alliance, but that her efforts were futile. However, she found a faction of Blood Elves who had been exiled from Silvermoon for practicing void magic. Illyria said she believes that she can train them to harness the void as she can in return for having them join the Alliance. Anduin responded that he didn't like that idea of using void magic, but he trusts Illyria and her judgment, and that having seen what she's capable of, the Alliance can't afford to ignore that kind of power. They're Blood Elves. And, I mean, Blizzard has said in the past that they wouldn't make, like, a High Elf race because there's not enough people who call themselves High Elves for them to constitute as their own race. There's more Blood Elves than High Elves, but all Blood Elves are High Elves. Okay, it's just getting too confusing. What I'm trying to say is that Night Elves are a Horde allied race now, and Blood Elves are an Alliance allied race. It's weird, but whatever. can't change it now. My voice doesn't matter. If they were to take out the Nightborn as a Horde allied race, I mean, they could easily replace them with like the Machnathal Orcs, who are led by Rexar. I don't know. It just makes more sense. Anyways, let's move on. So after that patch, possibly 7.3.7 or 7.4, I do think that there's going to be another patch in like mid-June-ish, which I think would be the official pre-patch for the expansion Battle for Azeroth. In this patch there will be like the Battle for Undercity and the Burning of Teldrassil events. We're going to see what happens to the Night Elves and the Undead, like where their homes are going to be. There's going to be some class changes and some other stuff that I can't really think of. And then the next expansion. When will it be? Well, first off, the alpha's actually coming in January. It's coming this month, the alpha. So it's not too far-fetched to actually think that the expansion would have a summer release, although I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I think every expansion except maybe one has been released around the September-November area. So I'm putting like a 85-90% chance it's going to be released around there. But it having a summer release would be kind of cool. Not too completely far-fetched, but I don't think that's going to happen. If that were the case, then there would be no... that pre-patch I was talking about earlier would be part of the 7.3.7 or 7.4 stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that's happening in WoW this year that I can think of off the top of my head that we already know of at the beginning. But anyways, guys, I'm just curious as to what you guys think of everything, of what you think of the new allied races, when you think the expansion will come out, because as soon as that's announced, like the minute it's announced, I'll be posting a video on it. Even if it's just a video on that topic, it's a major topic. But if you guys like this video, you can leave a like on it. You can sub to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.